Hi, it's Keith back again with Attack from Down Under. Today's video is a vinyl finds video. So I was looking at a pile of all my records and tapes and what have you that are just piling up out in the back there. So it all seemed to be hard rock and glam metal. So I thought I'd bring in someone for this video who knows more about this music than me. And that's Steve from the channel Rock and Metal Invasion. Okay,
Hey,
Steve.
Keith. Hey, thanks for the
And
invite.
hey, it's always good to have these meetups. I always enjoy them. And I think he's also got some music that he has picked up to show.
Yeah,
Right, so I'll throw it over to you, Steve, and take it away with your music.
yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks, Keith. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm always picking up new music. I don't, on my channel, I'll just do a quick plug, Rock and Metal Invasion. Yeah, on my channel, I do occasionally show new things I've got added to my collection, but often it's I don't do this. So it's great to have an opportunity to sort of show some things that I've picked up. And I sort of thought I'd do this in sort of semi categories, right? So my first category is kind of like some 7-inch singles that I've picked up recently. It's only two here, and I don't buy a lot. One of the problems I find with the 7-inch singles is I kind of stash them away and then often don't get them out. I sort of don't really think about putting them on. Or then when I do put them on, I think, oh, yeah, I'm putting it on just for one song or two, the two songs or whatever, the A and B side, you got to change it over. It is a bit of a hassle. But again, I like the sound of vinyl. So sometimes if I can get a song on vinyl, and this is the only way I can get it, then that's what I'll do. Or maybe there's just one song from the album that I only like. So it's like, I'm not going to spend all the money on a full album, but I'll get this, get a 7-inch single. So that's kind of my reasoning behind getting 7-inch singles. Or sometimes there's a B-side as well, right? That's not on the album. So there are reasons. I probably prefer to get a 12-inch single because then it's a little bit more, it's a bit bigger and it fits in nicely with my records as opposed to being sort of stashed away with my other 7 inches. But anyway, so what I did get, and it's not very exciting to look at, but this is Journey and Message of Love. Well, Message of Love is actually the B-side, but the reason that I got this, because the A-side is When You Love a Woman. It's from the Journey album Trial by Fire, which is kind of their comeback album, came out, I think, around 95, 96. That album's not available on vinyl, to my knowledge. So the only way you can get any of the songs on vinyl is picking up one of these. And these used to come out a little bit in the mid-90s. Well, throughout the 90s, they were still putting out some things on vinyl because this is for like a jukebox. And the jukeboxes were still kind of things, right? So, so one way to get a couple of tracks from their album on vinyl is to pick up a jukebox CD 7-inch single. So I'm not a big fan of When You Love a Woman. This actually was a bit of a hit, though. It was a bit of a hit for them. But Message of Love, which opens up the album, that's a real good hard rock song. So I really love that one. So thought I'm going to get that. It didn't cost a lot of money. So I thought I'd pick that up. And the other one I got is really just for the one song. And the song is I Can't Live Without Your Love. So it's the band Terraplane. This is mid-80s, 85. You can get this on album, but it's really the only song I like. So again, this is one of those situations where it's only really one song I like. So I'll just get the 7-inch single. I Can't Live Without Your Love, but interesting one because it's actually one of those gatefold CD singles.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a bit rough in the middle here, as you can see. It's got a bit of water damage or whatever, but they're not that common, eh? Like I've seen a few 7-inch, gatefolds, and so it's a double 7-inch basically. But what happens is the other 7-inch singles like two live recordings. All Night and Day, I'm the One, and then Beginning of the End, which I think is just from the album, could be a B-side, I don't actually know. But I Can't Live Without Your Love is the reason I got this. It's a good song, I like it. The other thing about Terraplane is this band becomes Thunder. This is actually basically pretty much.
You've heard of Thunder.
Yeah, this is basically the band Thunder. They changed their name and their image a little bit too, and their sound. Yeah, so there we go. So that's my 7-inch singles.
Yeah, that's how I first started collecting way back. My theory was if I might not like the whole album, but I know there's singles on it. I like it, so I'll collect the 7-inch singles. And but they
Yeah,
started to get a bit fancy, you know, like with the gatefold. That is unusual, and I think I've
yeah.
got some that even have like posters and things on it to try and encourage you to buy the single, and then the single will go up the charts. And I think I've got a Gary Moore one that has a poster in it, and then they started to do coloured vinyl for singles. I've got a few things like that, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I
great.
guess too, sometimes what would happen is the 7-inch single would come out before the album, right? So if you were a big
Mm.
fan, like you'd buy the 7-inch single just so you could at least get a couple of the songs from the album, and then you'd have to then go out and buy the album. So yeah,
Yeah, a recent one I really, really wanted was that Reach for a Sky, that Rat one, but you had to buy the whole album to just get
yeah,
the single,
yeah,
which bugged me. But yeah.
annoying, eh? Yeah.
So okay, my first choice to show you is this is an album that's got the glam metal sound, but in 1992, just a bit sort of late for this music, and that is Wild Side Under the Influence, came out in 1992. So my copy is, it looks like it's red vinyl, but it says it's fire orange vinyl. Looks red to me, but I think it's just like the girls. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sold out now, but this is one. This is probably one of my favorite glam metal. There, it probably is. Yeah, one of my favorite glam metal albums. And I had the CD copy for years and years and years, and played it so much. But that when that reissue came out, I had to grab it. But there was quite a few bootlegs of this album floating around, and the covers were sort of like a variable quality. They were just blown up images of the CD cover. But this is actually not too bad. It's a bit grainy.
I'll show you my one. So this is the original.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty much right compared to what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I had the CD, you couldn't see that person in the corner very well on the CD.
Yeah, right, yeah,
So I was thinking, is that an old man, or and that's like his daughter out by the pool. He's like the rich man or something, and but now I've got there. You can sort of see it's just a kid dressed up as
yeah.
And I always wondered what that thing was there, but I think it's some sort of ashtray or something. Anyway, I could go on, so you're lucky you got that, because I'm reading on the cover here, it says newly remastered for vinyl, never before on vinyl in the US. So how come you've got that one there? How could you have that one there, Steve?
Well,
that's my question.
It's a European pressing, so so Europe's the place to go, or so here's the insert, the lyrics, and let's see if it says. So it's on Capital, and it says, what does it say? Does it say where it was made? It's European press. I know that much.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hard one to find, that one.
Yeah. I mean, I was lucky. I picked it up like 10, 12 years ago, sort of thing. But it didn't cost much at all. But yeah.
So those guys, they had the look of glam musicians, that they look totally right for the part. And Drew Hanna looked terrific. I watched the videos. He looks terrific. They sound great. They had a killer single from that album, "Hang On Lucy." They had the complete whole package there, but just probably 2 years too late. And but the songs are great on that. I could still listen to this today.
Yeah. And that's why it's sort of, you showed the CD before. That CD, that's hard to get now. And when people found out about it, it was like everything, all the product that they put out was snapped up. It was really hard to get Wild Side product. because they were so popular. They became popular after they
After
broke
the
out,
fact.
basically. The word of mouth through word of mouth and things like that. And especially now with the internet, people can hear the songs and go, "Oh wow, this is really good," So, yeah.
But shelved years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
All
they
right.
did put out a second album as well, but that's
Hmm.
that's just a grunge album, so it's not really, not the same.
Okay, you've got something else to show us there, Steve?
Yeah. So my next one's just something that well, there's a bit of an interesting story with this one. So what happened was the Lynch Mob Wicked Sensation album. I've only ever had it on vinyl, but just vinyl. I purchased it somehow without the cover, and it's meant I could play it, but it was a little bit annoying. Everyone likes, of course, to have the cover and all that sort of thing. So I just was accepting that, and then I saw on Discog someone was selling the Lynch Mob album Wicked Sensation. So here it is here, but they said that the record's pretty much unplayable. So it was cheap. So I managed to basically get the cover. I already had the vinyl I had was fine. It was really good. VG, VG Plus, plays great. So I was able to get the cover and use my vinyl, and now I've basically got the record. So the interesting though too, the record that he did come still with a record. But yeah, I wouldn't say completely unplayable. I don't know if I can show this, but you can see it's got a cut.
Frisbee. It's a frisbee, basically.
Yeah, I mean the thing is you can play it because the cut only goes to like about track 3, so you could play from about the third track on each side. You can actually then play the album okay, because actually it's mint. Otherwise, it's mint. It looks mint. Obviously having that cut in it is no good. So I don't know. Yeah, it probably will just be a frisbee now. I don't know. Might just keep it just for interest's sake. But there we go. So that's how I managed to get Wicked Sensation. With the cover. Yeah,
I have mixed and matched a few times myself. I have to admit, because sometimes a LP will arrive from overseas and there's a problem with the cover. It's been ripped or something. Or down the track.
You find one that's got a better cover, so then you swap
cover,
it out. Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll be selling them, until I pass away. So it won't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It only matters to the next owner of the record, I guess. I don't.
Yeah.
So my next one is this one here from Rat, Detonator, 1990. This is another reissue. So this one sort of squeaked in just before this type of music was becoming unpopular. So this is quite a hard record to find, I understand, until they put out a box set. Was there a box set that came along? And if you wanted to get this quite rare record, you had to buy the box set. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
And then
that's the trick that they do. That's what they do, Keith, right? So they they kind of almost force people to buy the box set, and then you don't know. Oh, actually, in a few months they're going to release the one that you actually really want.
Yeah, the one record. Yeah.
It's like, why did I bother buying the box set? I could have, But anyway, that's the way it goes.
And so I think they thought to spruce up some of the songs on this album. They brought in some new songwriters.
Yeah,
a guy that you mentioned quite a lot on your channel, Desmond Child, and sort of just to give the lyrics a bit of a shine. And of course, there's a ballad, power ballad, "Giving Yourself Away." I think he wrote that with Diane Warren. Another single on here is "Shame, Shame, Shame." So I watched that video before today. And the model's going up in the air, and all their clothes somehow get blown off in the video, and out of a jumpsuit, and then she ends up blowing up Stephen Pearcy's rocket ship, and it's quite an entertaining video to watch.
Yeah,
on the other. Yeah. So I thought it was quite a good album. I quite like the "Shame, Shame, Shame."
Yeah, I like that song. I
Yeah.
would say that, and I know some people like that album, but for me, it doesn't really sound like a Rat album, or it doesn't sound
Mm.
doesn't it sounds quite different to their previous albums where they had, I guess, Boho production and they had more. Well, they didn't have Desmond Child writing with them, so that makes a difference. Yeah. Mm.
And Robin Crosby is less involved on this album. I think he had a
Yeah,
few
yeah, he did. Yeah.
troubles with that. Yeah. All right. So you've got in your
Yep.
next pick.
Next round. So I'm kind of doing these in sort of some sort of order. So this is a bunch of records that I picked up when I went up to Auckland about a week ago. So Auckland's quite a big city here in New Zealand. It's got some quite good record shops, and I was going up there, so I thought I'll make the most of my time up there and check out some record shops. Didn't buy a lot, but there's a shop up there called Flying Out, and I went in there and checked out their secondhand records. That's usually what I'm most interested in because the new records I can always
Yeah,
order
me
them.
too. Yeah.
I can always order the new ones online, but often the secondhand ones are not online. You've got to actually go to the shop. So that's what's of interest to me. So I was going through and I found this band called The Babysitters. So this is UK.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what they are thinking with their fashion choices here. But yeah, UK, it's kind of glam punk, which is not really a term I've ever really, you don't hear very much anyway. But I can sort of see that it's glam. I mean, if you call that glam, maybe more 70s glam than 80s hair metal glam. Um, but yeah, it's definitely very raw, very sort of, it's here they are at the back. Yeah, they're at the pub or whatever, having a few drinks, and it's very, yeah, it's not the sort of slick hair metal that you got from the bands from the States. This is more like Choir Boys, Dogs D'Amour type
Yeah, I was
thing.
thinking Dogs D'Amour. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and just there's some songs on here that I find almost a little bit unlistenable, like the song "Old LA." It's really difficult. I find that a struggle to listen to. I didn't. This is a blind buy. When I brought this, I had never heard this band before, or not really. I knew of them, and I have heard them on a compilation album I've got, but pretty much a blind buy. But it was $5. So they were selling it for 12, reduced to $5. So I thought, why not? But actually, there are some good songs, some songs I quite enjoy on here. And I sometimes think about the sleaze metal sound that became popular, especially when Guns N' Roses came in. They had that sort of more sleaze metal sound, which was like taking bits of AC/DC and Hanoi Rocks and sort of combining it into a sort of into the hair metal scene. And there's the UK. There were some UK bands that also were doing
Yeah.
that
Mm.
prior to Guns N' Roses, and because this is a 1985 release, so
Mm.
yeah, Everybody Loves You When You're Dead. I like their song titles sometimes; they're quite funny. I Want to Be on the TV. They've got a real sense of humor. So it's kind of fun, but as I say, some of the songs musically just not my thing at all. But yeah, it's not bad. So I picked that up, and just out of interest too, I had heard the band before because they were on this compilation called Rock Pretty, and like I said, a lot of these UK bands they really were doing that sleazy glam metal thing before a lot of the US bands were. It just wasn't quite so slick and well produced, and maybe not so
Mm.
musically commercial or anything. But this has the Babysitters on it, and a whole lot of other bands that are lesser known. There's a band called The Grip. You may have heard of them. But a lot of these other bands didn't really go on to do too much. But it's on Heavy Metal Records, the label, which is a UK label.
Yeah, I do
Uh,
like Tiger Tails. I like that band.
yeah. They certainly had the image down. Yeah. So I picked that up, and another one I was really pleased to find is the band Slade and their album
Okay.
"Till Death Do Us Part." Now, Slade I think quite a big inspiration for the glam metal hair metal scene because you've got Quiet Riot, you've got Brittany Fox, there's probably more as well. In fact, there is more because the song "Lock Up Your Daughters" is covered by the band Lion on one of their albums. So, and that's a really great song. I didn't even know about this song until I heard the Lion version. And I thought it was just
Mm.
their song. I was like, oh, that's a Slave song. That's a really good song. This came out in '81, and my understanding is this is their heavy metal record, right? This is, this is probably one of their heaviest records, but actually not easy to find. And it is. It rocks pretty hard. Some really good stuff on here. Of course, Noddy Holder, of course, lead vocals, guitar. And he's a good songwriter.
It's good. Yeah.
He's written for other artists as well. So I quite enjoy it. It's the only Slade album I've got. Maybe I'll get more, but I had heard that this is kind of their heavy metal record. I mean, it's not heavy, but you know what I mean. It's one of their heavier ones. And I knew that I liked Lock Up Your Daughters. So, and I've given it one spin through, and yeah, it's good. I've enjoyed it. So, and of course, '81. This is around the time of new wave of British heavy metal. So maybe there's a bit of influence and push coming from that as well. Can see them there. Looks like they're playing to a
Big
massive
crowd. Yeah, they're pretty popular in England. Not
That's right. They were big in England, but then not so much the States. But then those American bands, I had obviously heard them, right? And because Quiet Riot, as I said, Brittany Fox, they were playing their songs. So and getting hits out of them too,
But did the band that came from, they didn't really take advantage of it,
No, that's right. Yeah, exactly right. Because they put out a lot of albums in the '80s. In fact, especially in the early '80s, if you go and look at their discography, they were putting out quite a few albums. But they just never really took off outside of their home country.
Well, I heard of them completely backwards from you because I had a friend. Oh, this is going right back, and I used to go over to his place, and he had Slade's greatest hits, and he used to play it. So before I heard all the other versions that other people did, I heard all those original songs, and so I knew them. And then I'd hear them on other albums, and I'd go, I know that from somewhere. Where do I know that from? I'd have to think back. Oh yeah. But from this, I don't know if you've heard the Slade song "Run Runaway." That's got a real heavy metal sound to it. And that's a good one. So I'd be interested to hear that just to see how heavy it gets.
Yeah, no, it's worth checking out. And the last one I found, and I actually found it at the same place, is Lisa Dominique and the 12-inch single, Jealous Heart. Now, this is a bit of a joke thing because I sent Dan some records, and one of the records I sent him was this, Lisa Dominique, Jealous Heart. So I've been without some Lisa Dominique for some time because I was generous enough to give my copy to Dan. So there we go. Now I've got Lisa Dominique's.
Well, you've got to keep hold of that one. That's a special one. You don't want to.
Got to keep up. I mean, it was $2, so I did have to pay the big money to get it, but I thought it's worth it.
You've got to pay out sometimes for these big name records, bands and artists.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So there she is, and the back there too. And but at the same time, Keith, this could be one of those records, a little bit like the Goblin Clock. You know how you send everyone Goblin Clock? Lisa Dominique might be the album that I end up sending everyone. So if you get something in the mail, you never know. It might be Lisa Dominique in the mail for you. You never know. I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying.
Wow. My birthday's coming soon. So that'll be a great one. Okay, my next one is another one you probably know as well. Another reissue. Like I said, these reissues are coming out thick and fast. Firehouse from 1990. So they pretty much stuck to their guns, this group, during the 90s, and they did not change their sound very much at all, I thought. And they enjoyed quite a lot of chart success. Well, these other ones, not so much with, and these guys are the masters of the power ballad. They just listening to that one. The original sold 2 million copies, went double platinum, and this is another Real Gone music from these guys. CJ Snare?
Yeah.
Guy. I did not know he died last year. And guitarist Bill Laverty, Kerry Richardson, Bruce Weibel, Michael Foster on drums. These guys. I can't remember hearing anything from this record, but back then, so I don't know. It probably didn't make it over here, for the radio station play and things like that. But massive, catchy singles on here.
Yeah, I do remember seeing "Don't Treat Me Bad" on New Zealand TV.
Okay.
Yeah, the music video. Yeah, I do remember, and I thought, oh yeah, it's a bit soft. It's not. It's a bit. Yeah, but there's some heavier songs on there, definitely, that I like. Yeah, so I picked up the same one as you. This is Real Gone. I did at one time have an OG copy, but
I was going to say, where's the original copy?
Yeah. Made the mistake of selling it, but anyway. But yeah, All She Wrote, that's my go-to song. That's a good one.
If you check out Steve's channel, he's got all those impossible to find records. He shows us up all the time. He's very jealous of.
Yeah.
But hang on, I'll show something might even up the odds.
Oh, exactly. That's why I'm going to have you on my channel, Keith. Yeah, so you can. Yes. Yeah, Keith's probably going to come on my channel and talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I can't show it.
Swap around.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I start to feel like you're showing all these impossible records, I just.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next album from Firehouse.
Nice.
I got that on cassette. Hold Your Fire. So this album is, like I was saying, was actually in 1990. Was it 1992? I have to say it's better than a Def Leppard Adrenalize, but I find it a little bit juvenile with some of the songs on it. But I do like the song "Hold Your Fire." I think this is sort of. I like the first album better than this one. But so this album got 3 singles charted. Certified Gold, and seems to be a lot of songs called Reach for the Sky. That's another one on there. And got the power ballad. It's sort of same formula than the previous one, but have you listened to that one much, Steve?
Yeah, I've got the vinyl actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just. But I think, does it look the same as yours? It's a bit different, isn't it? The cover, I mean.
It's cropped a bit, and there's a massive hype sticker on the. It's still in the shrink because I just wanted to keep that hype sticker, but I listened to it online and things like that. But,
Mine's actually a Korean pressing, but quite hard to get. Some of those albums. Those 92 albums that were quite hard to get. Sometimes like you could get on as a Korean pressing a bit easier, but yeah.
And while I'm showing that, I'll show another one because it's my channel, so I'll just show more.
Sure. Nice.
Don Dokken, Up from the Ashes, the first solo album. 1990. This is actually the only thing I've got from this guy, actually.
Well, he hasn't got much. Are you talking about Dokken or Don Dokken?
Don Dokken, but he's sort of included because it hasn't got the same sort of guys. It's got Billy White. It's got a guy from Europe, the band Europe on this one.
Yeah.
And Peter Belties from Accept, and Mickey D on drums, who did a show a while back, and he was doing drums for a Motorhead album. But, so it's got a power ballad. All these bands, power ballads, When Love Finds a Fool, and that was co-written with the former Deep Purple and Black Sabbath singer Glenn Hughes, and I think he does some vocals on here. Just with some of the songwriting, he was doing a song on here, and I was waiting for him. he was going on. I know you're going to do that cliche, sing that cliche about I'll be crying in the rain. You know, you can't see my tears because I'll be crying. And so many bands use that. And sure enough, I laughed because it came up in the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe this is what sunk a lot of these bands. You know, there was too many power ballads out there, and people were just getting a bit.
Yeah, they heard that song before. They heard those lyrics before. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that is a good album. It's a good album. Have you got any Dokken or
no?
No, you got no Dokken.
No, not all except for that. I listened to that one that he put out. I think it might have been the last one where he is. I think he's struggling a bit with his guitar playing. He got another guitar player in, and his voice sounded a bit rough, which I don't mind. I don't mind when singers' voice are roughed up a bit. But are you a big fan of his latest album?
Yeah, I haven't actually got a physical copy of it, but it wasn't too bad. But I have only really had a casual interest in Dokken since the sort of since they broke up really, which the first time, which was after Back for the Attack. I mean, Back for the Attack and everything prior to that is I think is awesome. You might quite like it if you haven't really checked them out. Their 80s stuff.
Yeah.
They get put in the hair metal, glam metal category, but they were one of the heavier hair metal bands. So, especially with George Lynch on guitar, has some pretty heavy riffs. So
yeah, he's good.
Yeah. All right. Should I
got it? Yep,
yeah.
Your turn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got two more lots to sort of show. So this lot now is just kind of like my new vinyl that I picked up recently. So this is all new vinyl. First one. Now this is not 80s. This is actually a bit more recent, but it is a reissue. This is The Cult and Beyond Good and Evil. So yeah, I love this album. Love the band. They've got so many great albums, and yeah. So this is it says here. I think this is the first time. Yeah, first time on vinyl. So it actually says that on the hype sticker there. It's got 3 sides. So I think the 4th side's an etching. With etching side 4. I won't get it out, but it's a really good album. Yeah.
So it sort of stacks up to some of their older ones.
Yeah, I mean, this came out, I guess, around 2000 and was sort of like a comeback because they'd pretty much, like a lot of bands in the 90s that came from the 80s, they struggled a little bit. And so I think they'd even split up, or at least they'd been on hiatus for about 7 years or something when that came out. And it's good. It's Bob Rock production, and yeah, it's a really it's a bit more modern rockish sounding, but still with that the sound that they had, say, on Sonic Temple. I think it compares quite well to Sonic Temple.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah. So, no, it's good. And then they've just kept going after this. They just kept going, putting out other albums, and I think they were really good. So another one I picked up recently is Bruce Dickinson and Scream for Me, Sarajevo. So it's the music from the motion picture, and I haven't seen the motion. I haven't seen it, which is a bit surprising because I love music documentaries. But it's a 2 LP. It was on special. It was a cheapy sort of thing. So I thought I'd pick it up, but not really knowing much about it. I don't have any Bruce Dickinson physical. I've heard some of their albums, and I like some of his songs, but I don't actually have physically anything in my collection. So, and this is kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a best of, because I don't think these are his best songs, but it is a collection of songs from his solo album. And yeah, I can't really say too much because I haven't seen the movie, and I've only really played one side. I've only just got this fairly recently. So
yeah, I've never seen it.
But yeah, kind of good to have. I mean, it's just a matter of it's not like I wouldn't be into Bruce Dickinson's solo albums. It's just it's just again having time to get into that sort of get into it all. He's got a lot of albums, and there's a lot of music out there to check out. So
it's only so much time in your day, and
yeah. But and I have heard some tracks from some of his albums, and yeah, it's pretty good. Some good stuff there. The last one that's a new album is Harum Scarum and Mood Swings, Canadian hard rock band AOR. This came out, so they're saying it's the 30th anniversary for the. It says here, yeah, on vinyl for the first time. I'd say that's probably right. I guess it probably came out in 93. I think this came out. So, but it's interesting for a 1993 release. It's very much like sounds like 80s hair metal, hard rock, AOR, whatever you want to. They didn't try and fit into the sound of the times at all, really. Um, and yeah, Saviors, Never Cry, No Justice. They're really good songs if you like that type of music. So I picked up their previous one, their debut album that came out on Real Gone Music last year. So I'm not. They've got lots of albums, but I'm only really into their first two albums, their first two. But so yeah, good to have those on vinyl now. So.
Yeah, quite often they try and adapt to new trends and it just doesn't work. In
Yeah,
hindsight, just stick to your guns and
that's
just
right.
produce what you're known for. And
Yeah,
you may find an audience maybe 20 years, 30 years like us listening to them now and saying, "Oh, that was
yeah,
quite good." So
exactly. Yeah,
I've got two more things to show.
yep.
Um, okay, and this is one album that I think Steve will defend to his dying breath.
Oh yes, I will. Absolutely.
Motley Crue, Theatre of Pain. So this is the one I needed to complete my early cassettes of Motley Crue. And I found that, I don't know if you can see that there, but it's got sort of a black strip up the top. I don't know why they've got that black strip there. But anyway, I got that one. 85. So this is the one where it's like a total shift towards glam metal with this album for Motley Crue. And, they start wearing the pink gear and all that sort of thing. Vince Neil, you see him in the pictures. And the band was sort of had a few legal troubles around about this time. And, Nikki Sixx had some addiction problems. But of course, it's got those Smoking in the Boys' Room and Home Sweet Home big singles on it. But for me, it's some of the deeper tracks that I probably haven't given much attention to. I actually quite like the song "Save Our Souls" on that one because it's quite heavy. That one,
Yeah,
it's one I like. And also on the album, did they do this? They on the track listings, they mix up all the track listings on it. So
yeah,
I was trying to follow which songs I was
yeah,
listening to when. Did they do that on the? Yeah,
yeah. They do. It's annoying, but
it's a bit
I think
annoying.
I've thought maybe that happens because they maybe they make the artwork before they've actually totally decided on the track listing order. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, so it's like that on the vinyl as well.
But I didn't think it deserves a lot of the flack it gets, myself. But I'm not an expert on Motley Crue. I'm a pretty casual listener, except for some of the older ones. But
I'd give Girls. I'd give a bit of a hard time. I'm not massive
more
that
than that.
one. I mean, I love Wild Side. That's the like the standout song on the album, and the rest is a bit meh. But yeah, no, I think it's a good album. Yeah,
my final one is, while I've got Steve here, he's a fellow New Zealander like myself. Why not show some New Zealand music? So I found from Nightshade, and this is a New Zealand. At the time, they were called heavy metal, but and some of their songs do get quite really heavy, heavy rock. So this is a compilation of songs from this New Zealand band, and in my head, I think they're 80s, but they're not. They're around for three decades. This came out in 1995 on an independent label, Hark Records. They re-recorded some of their older songs on different labels. 6 new songs that I'm not sure if that was on any recording. So this is like a really quite rare CD find to get. I got picked that up at a record fair just recently. Looking up on Discogs just out of curiosity to see if they had any on Discogs, and you won't believe the price for that. The lower price was 70 New Zealand dollars for it. Medium price was 122 for a CD.
Yeah.
And the highest price ever paid was nearly $200. I got it for $3. So
Wow.
I was happy to see that. But the only thing wrong with it, you get these things home that you buy secondhand, and that actually looks like it's part of the album, that back part there. But what they've actually done, I'll see if I can take it out without breaking the CD, is they've taken out the back part of another album, and I think it's a bullet from my Valentine album, The Poison, but they've just replaced that back bit at some point. So I don't care. It just got the CD's one that I really wanted. So.
Yes, yeah, that's a great find. Yeah, yeah, awesome. All right, well, so yeah, my last lot here is CDs. So just some CDs, because I do still buy CDs. Don't buy as many as I used to, but again, similar sort of thing where it's sort of like, well, you can't get it on vinyl, or it's just something specific for a CD. So, and this one's actually a CD DVD. So these used to come out a little bit, and I used to quite like them if they also came with a CD. So this is Twisted Sister and Live at Wacken. So yeah, it's CD and DVD. So Dio did one like this as well. They're quite good because I don't even have a DVD player now, to be honest with you. But when I did, I used to only just play the DVD. Maybe I'd watch the concert once, and then that would be sort of it. But I still want to play the music, so it's quite nice to have the CD. So yeah, this is kind of like the comeback concert or from 2003. Yeah, so kind of cool to have. I also picked this up, Keith. You might recognize this, but I think it's very much an exclusively a New Zealand release. It's called Simply the Best 80s Rock Ballads. And
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a 2 CD. I mean, a massive number of bands on this. So it's got because CDs, you can fit so much music on, right? So the first side's got 17 songs on it, and then the first CD's got 17 songs on it. Second CD's got 17 as well. It's also got Nightshade, You Don't Need Me on there, so that shows you how New Zealand, flavored it is. Everything else is pretty much American, to be honest with you. Extreme, Poison. It's got Push Push, song 27, Push Push, New Zealand band as well. But yeah, otherwise it's a lot of pretty much all American bands. Slaughter, Winger, all their big hit songs. Their big hit ballads, sort of thing. So kind of fun to just put on and just every song, but kind of cool to have. So and yeah, having those New Zealand bands just mixed in there a little bit is kind of fun. And I got a couple of CD singles. So sometimes I like to pick up CD singles. Again, just like with the 7-inch singles, sometimes it's just because they're exclusive tracks. And so I picked up this one, White Lion. And so this is a CD single from their Main Attraction album. And it's Lights and Thunder is the single. But it's also got Fight to Survive Live, and She's Got Everything. She's Got Everything is on the album, but only on the CD version of the album, not on the vinyl version of the album, which I always found really annoying. You know how, I don't know if you know this, Keith, but back in the sort of early 90s or maybe late 80s, when they were really trying to phase out the vinyl a little bit, they'd give you an extra track sometimes on the CD and not on the vinyl. So yeah, so She's Got Everything is not actually on the vinyl. So I thought I've got the album, but I've only got it on vinyl. So now I've got the song that I don't have. Yeah. So, and it's got a live track, so it's kind of didn't cost a lot. Why not? And then finally, Bon Jovi and Dry County, but this is from Keep the Faith. But this is actually, it's interesting. It's a CD single, but it's Dry County live. So it's the song recorded live. And then it's also got It's Only Rock and Roll and Waltzing Matilda live. So this
strange choice.
Yeah. So these 3 songs are all live, and of course the 2 of the songs are cover songs. It also is a gold CD. So I don't know if that will it's gold, and it's also got their signatures on it. Well, obviously it's just been
very nice,
pressed like that, but it's not real signatures. But yeah, there we go.
sometimes some of those bonus tracks, you think they're better than some of the songs on the album. Why don't they do a swap around? But
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I've got to show. I think we've both run out of what we've got to show. Thanks for coming on today, Steve. I just thought this would be more interesting than just my usual. I'll show a record and sort of thing. It's good to have a bit of a discussion and makes it more fun for me. Check out Steve's channel, Rock and Metal Invasion. Subscribe to them. There's t-shirts, merch available.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All sorts of things. So check that out. And I'll see you next time in my next video. Thanks again, Steve, and bye, everybody.
See ya.